Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today is Monday, which means it's time for an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick a gun and customization for me to use. The way you do this is you leave a comment down below letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. Today's top comment comes from Kevin White. He says, the Colombian drug lord. The primary will be the AK-12 in place of an AK-47. The attachments will be an iron sight. We're not going to have anything underbarrel so that we can attach a grenade launcher on there. We'll have a heavy barrel and a tac light. The equipment will be the grenade launcher, obviously. Med kit will be using a Molotov and or incendiary grenade, and any field upgrade. So I went with the defensive field upgrade. Now while I was recording this loadout, I also managed to get the mastery for the AK-12, finishing off my assault rifle mastery objective. So I don't have any more assault rifles to master. This was the last one on the list, and that's not to say that I don't like this weapon. It's actually a lot of fun to use. It's just got a very slow rate of fire, so it's not necessarily the most competitive rifle in the game. That being said, running this weapon with an underbarrel grenade launcher gives it a very cool look aesthetically. Unfortunately, it doesn't really give you much of a benefit of running this underbarrel. It would be better if you just had some sort of foregrip on there so you could better compensate your recoil or improve the gun in some way. In fact, it would be interesting if the grenade launcher was an equipment option in the underbarrel slot, in which case it would free up both your gadget slots once again. That would actually give you a reason to run the grenade launcher underbarrel instead of using some sort of foregrip. Then again, the assault class is already pretty overpowered, so giving it more benefits probably isn't the best idea balance-wise. Now, I believe you can switch to the underbarrel grenade launcher faster than you can by switching to it if it's a separate weapon entirely, and that's supposed to be the main benefit of having it mounted underbarrel. I just don't think it's that good of a benefit to actually give up your underbarrel attachment. Regardless, the gun is looking pretty badass in this loadout, and when we aim down sights, that tac light comes on, blinding our opponents in close quarters and giving away our position at longer ranges. Tac lights really just do have to be used more tactically. I would prefer using them in sort of a medium to close-ish range scenario. The AK-12 has lesser recoil, it's got a slower rate of fire, so it's generally speaking a good weapon to use at longer ranges, and that's not where you want the tac light. That being said, the fact that I can't really use a red dot sight in this loadout means that my long range capabilities are not going to be as good as they once were. It's not to say that this gun isn't capable, but you'll even see from just watching this gameplay how easy it is to lose my target with these iron sights. It's not that they're bad iron sights, it's just iron sights are not quite as good as that floating red dot center screen. They do, however, have that cool authentic look, and as much as I like this gun authentically, it's just something that's never really going to be a good competitive rifle to use. It's accurate, it's got lower recoil with the right kind of optic on here and underbarrel. It can be a pretty decent long range weapon, but again, it's not going to win any awards, and there's always going to be something that outclasses this gun in pretty much any range. It would have been cool to see DICE bring a different type of AK to Battlefield 4 like the AKM or the AK-47 shooting the 7.62 style round, which is a much bigger slug, and they could give it different bullet properties, kind of like they're doing in Battlefield Hardline, where the AKM has a very high damage per shot, can get that 3-shot in close quarters, it's got a lower rate of fire. It just changes up the dynamics of the AK pretty substantially, and unfortunately in Battlefield 4 the AK-12 just doesn't offer enough good things to make it a viable weapon. That being said, as long as you're playing in a good, balanced public server, you can always make use of whatever weapon you have, as long as you're playing it to its strengths, and you'll see there I just got the weapon mastery for the AK-12. Now, as much as I love this loadout thematically, and it is a cool theme, I mean, how would you deck out your gun if you were sort of like in the Colombian drug cartel and you needed something that was going to hold up in jungle style fighting, maybe nighttime patrols, all that kind of stuff? This is definitely something that would probably be on that list of weaponry. It's just that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense according to Battlefield 4 stats. If I had to modify, I would definitely put something like a stubby grip on there, perhaps an ergo grip, depending on your playstyle. If you want to run and gun a little bit more with this weapon, ergo grip would work nicely. And then for red dot, you would either use the Coyote or a Cobra sight, especially if you want to be more authentic. The Cobra sight is a Russian-made sight, so it fits more with the AK style. Now, I managed to get some rush gameplay in here. I've been trying to get in as much rush gameplay to these loadouts whenever possible. It's always just tricky trying to find a good server. Usually in rush games, you'll find a server that's just painfully imbalanced, and so it doesn't make a lot of sense to play on it. And I have to say, even this game here was pretty imbalanced. The attacking team was just assaulting the heck out of us, and nobody else on my team seemed to be doing much in the way of getting kills. Nonetheless, you can still do pretty well playing defensively on a rush game mode, even if you are the only decent player on your team. It's just that your odds of actually stopping the attacking team become very, very small, and I often went through a few situations where I take out like 4 out of 5 guys in a squad, and then the 5th guy would kill me. Nobody else would be around, so the 5th guy would pretty much just revive everybody. So it was almost like I wasn't really doing anything other than slowing down the inevitable. Now we're going to come up on a clip here where I'm pretty much in the most ideal situation you can be with any sort of weapon, but the AK-12 really kind of showed what its limitations were right here. I'm able to take out 3 guys with their back turned, and the 4th I have to switch to my pistol to finish them off. Now, in say Battlefield 3, I would confidently be able to take out all 4 of those guys with my assault rifle magazine without having to reload. Because we're playing Battlefield 4 and we have a lower damage model, it generally means you're going to be able to kill 3 people maximum. And that's in a good situation. Usually 2 people is the max I get with any single assault rifle magazine. Beyond that, you're going to want to switch to your sidearm or reload. And that's really why reload times are so important in Battlefield 4, because you're often engaging a lot of enemies at once. Sometimes you're the only person you can rely on who's around you, so you got to get that reload off and re-engage multiple hostile threats, sometimes many times. So the fact that you have a fast reload on some weapons is a very, very big deal. And the AK-12 has a 2.05 second reload, which certainly isn't bad. It's definitely on the faster side of things, so it's at least useful for engaging multiple hostiles. Aiming for the head is incredibly important when you have a slow rate of fire weapon, especially if the recoil is low and you can be a little bit more precise with it. You're going to need to aim for the head to get those higher damage hits, allowing you to drop your opponent before they drop you, because the lower rate of fire is not going to do you any other benefits beyond perhaps accuracy. Sadly, the iron sights on this loadout make it very difficult to aim specifically for headshots, because once I line up the iron sights with somebody's head, the iron sights themselves actually pretty much cover up the enemy's entire body, and it becomes very hard to track the target I'm shooting at, so I pretty much had to aim center mass most of the time. So at the end of the day, the AK-12 is aesthetically very cool, but tactically not very useful. We'll be seeing a pretty big switch up with Battlefield Hardline and the AKM being a real powerhouse. Don't forget to leave your comments down below letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories to run with for next week's episode. And as always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.